I just painted up the old intake manifold, although I'm not going to use it. And you can see my trick for drying off parts real fast. Put the leaf blower on it on low speed, with it out in the sun, baking in the sun, and that dries the paint up real quick. I'll put a little rusty metal primer on it first, a light coat, and you put like a light coats of paint and then engine paint, and you put heavier coats. It's good enough. I'm not gonna. Now, if you wanted to actually reuse this, I'm gonna weigh this though. We're gonna see how much it weighs. I got a bathroom scale over there that's pretty accurate. That's an Ironman scale that goes to 1/10 of a pound. It's a pretty good bathroom scale. I'm just gonna weigh it, and because this is significantly more weight than the aluminum one. But you know, if you just want to make the car look pretty, it's fine just to do that. You know, I took my pressure washer and some awesome cleaner, went over it a few times. Now, if you wanted this paint to really stay on here, you can get 2-part paint, or even use the 2-part clear coat over this, and the paint will probably stick a hell of a lot better. In other words, use regular epoxy or urethane with the catalyst versus just some engine enamel. But there's an advantage of using the stock manifold. I mean, it looks, if this was aluminum, I'd rather have this one. You know, it's got 13557, 2468, and a firing order 184366572 right on the manifold. It also has everything set up what you need. And I noticed I still got to get another plug too. I had to order some more stuff because I was missing stuff for the new manifold. So it's actually nickel dimes you when you put another manifold on it. Really, it's not just the cost of the manifold and the gaskets. The heater hose, whatever fitting, it's a different size thread. It's a 1/2 inch pipe thread. So I had to order one of those. Also, I got the square bore Holley 4-barrel intake for the Edelbrock Performance one, and I got a Holley 2-barrel, so I had to get an adapter. I thought I had an adapter, but I don't have one that fits that. I thought it was that Mr. Gasket adapter would have fitted, but it don't. So I had to order an adapter. I'll be getting that within a day or two. Also forgot the fitting in the back here that plugs up this hole. That's a different size. I also, this was for the PCV valve here. It doesn't have that on the new manifold, so you use that. But I have to use a 3/8 NPT, you know, national pipe thread, standard national pipe thread fitting. Just get one of Lowe's. But it's a bunch of little bullshit. It really doesn't just pop on there. You know what I mean? So it's actually easier just to use the old one. It really is. But I'm figuring if I go to a 350 motor, I'm going to have, instead of having a 2-barrel manifold, I'll have a 4-barrel manifold with the Holley 2-barrel on it, the 500 CFM. But if I want to put a Holley 4-barrel, I could with the 350. You know, that's one of the things I was thinking about getting this thing for too. So anyway, let's weigh it up. Can't see this thing. There it is. All right, didn't click the phone on, but it's 41 pounds. 41 pounds. A heavy sucker, man. It does feel almost like a bag of concrete, you know, pretty close to it. Let's see what the other one is. It's so sunny and bright out here, I can barely see the phone, you know, that's one of my problems. So, that's what I did on the other one, I zeroed it out first. So, oh. Wait a minute, just give me you know what is going on there? Hit another button. The scale is does a lot of stuff. You can program it. I started programming. Let's do it this way. That's what I figured. Yeah, it's under 60. It's like 15 and a half pounds. So the other one's like 40 and a half. This one's 15 and a half. So it's over twice as much weight. But you know, I really don't. Well, this thing probably does give better performance though, because of I don't think it does that much. But you got this, you know. But if you look down in here, it's actually pretty damn clean in here, man. This thing's the engine's been running okay. So here's my phenolic resin spacer. Just picked it up. It's going on there, and I also got the adapter for it for the 2-barrel. But that is strictly, that's a Rochester 2-barrel manifold, and it's got a Mr. Gasket adapter on it for the Holley 2-barrel, which I don't know. You know, maybe that adapter isn't really the best ideal situation, but it seemed to always run pretty good. I think the main problem with this damn thing was the cam. Okay, so the adapter's on order. That's right. It's going to be here probably in a couple days, 2 or 3 days. But I'd also recommend get the Edelbrock, because the Chinese ones I've seen online, they were not, you know, made to the same quality. And you know what I'm also thinking is probably the aluminum isn't even the same quality. You know how aluminum gets tarnished pretty quick too. Plus, you know, the strength of the aluminum, even if you wind up, I don't know, maybe you could strip out a thread on a Chinese one too. So these aren't that much money. The Edelbrock Performer is just best for like stock engines, but it's best, you can use it with mild performance engines, but it's not going to be performance. The EPS is the one with the square bore. So I got the one with the Holley. But I personally like the Edelbrock 4-barrel better, but what I wanted to do was, well, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up, to tell you the truth. Holleys are good too. I wanted to keep the Demon 2-barrel, which is a Holley 2-barrel. So the adapter I got coming is a 2-barrel to a 4-barrel. And the 500 CFM Demon Holley Barry Grant carburetors, plenty good enough for 350. And I'm going to take this thing off and paint it orange or some crap. But, you know, it's a little... it's easier just to take that damn thing, pressure wash the whole damn thing off with some soap and stuff, paint it, and put it back on, than to buy one of these. But what I'm thinking is, if I replace this engine, it'll be far cheaper. Like say I got to put a whole nother engine in sometime in the future. It's cheaper to get a 350 versus a 305. And you know, maybe I'll get a 4-barrel with it, and you know, because it'll run off the primaries and get better fuel mileage or something. Or maybe it might have a throttle type injection, which is not going to work with that 2-barrel Rochester manifold. I'd have to have a manifold like this anyway. So why not enjoy the benefits of it right now, right? Because in the future I'll probably need to get this anyway. But it's not, you know, if you're just doing some engine work and you just want to be quite honest, I'm going to tell you this. I used to find that there was, back in the day when everybody was, you know, modifying their cars, I'm just talking here for a while, I used to find that a lot of people set things up wrong. They would put wrong stuff on a car, and some people did it right, some people did it wrong. But basically the best way to go for, if you want to go fast for the street, is cubic inches and mild. In other words, torque. Like if you get a 454, it doesn't have to be built up. You know, it's 454 is going to be way better than a 327 or 350 for as far as street goes. You want to get a, you know, Chrysler 440, bored out 30 over, 446. It's going to be way better than any 340. I mean, yeah, you can get a 6-pack 340 and all this kind of garbage. You know what I'm talking about. Ford, you can get 428s, or at least a 390. It's the way to go is cubic inches, and to make sure everything is working absolutely correctly and it's up to factory specs. Most of the time, I used to see people didn't put shit together exactly right. And, you know, basically stock motors that were pretty good performers out of the factory, a lot of times beat the modified stuff. Not all the time. Depends on who modified it. So, you know, if you really want to save money, if you're doing performance upgrades, in my opinion, it's best not to throw a shitload of money into a smaller motor. The one thing I like about the Chevy small block, though, is if you could get that 383 bored out, the 350 stroker, 383, and say a 30 over, which I think it would bring it up to 388, 389, and it's still small block and lightweight. That would be okay. That would definitely be a good thing to have. But for the most part, it's not worth putting a lot of money into a smaller motor for performance for the street. It's kind of stupid, to tell you the truth, in my opinion. But if it's in a light car, it don't matter too much, you know. It depends on what you're doing. And it also depends on if you want the car to handle. Like a small block Corvette 327 or 350, you know, handles better. Same with the Cudas, right? 340 handles better. But if you're talking a bigger car, like a Mopar B-body, you know, dump the 383, get a 440. If you got an Impala, put a 427 or a 454 in it, bore it out or stroked or something, whatever. I mean, just bore it out a little bit. You bore out a 427 30 thousandths, I think it gives you 433, 434. So that's a lot of cubic inches. And you don't need any special cam or special anything. It's got the torque. It's a torque monster. That's what counts. So, but, you know, taking 25 pounds off of here, that's okay. That's not too bad. Because I figure I want to get an HHO for this that is the real high output HHO. And that setup's probably going to weigh about 25 pounds. It's going to have a lot of stainless steel plates in it. And I'll have that run into the air cleaner. And not that I think it's going to make this car run on water, but what it does is that little bit of hydrogen added into the gas mix, the fuel mixture, makes it run more efficient. Not as efficient as a fuel injection computerized engine management system, but still not too bad. So, but you know, it's like this, if you're just looking for, like, I want to have a nice pretty manifold, just go paint your old one. I mean, really, it's a lot simpler. But I think this is going to come in handy for later. Like I said, this 305, I don't know how much longer the damn engine itself is going to last. You know, it's not going to get replaced with a 305. I'll just wind up getting a brand new 350. It's the most economical option, and that'll be going on it. And it'll probably still have the Holley 2-barrel, but then if I want to upgrade it to even say I wanted to go to some kind of throttle body fuel injection, that's the type of manifold I want to have. I can't use that Rochester 2-barrel sucker. I don't think there's anything made for that, so that's the way to do it. But 40.5 pounds versus 15.5 pounds, that in itself is pretty good. That's not too bad.